So the huge news this week was that FTMO and Oanda have formed a JV to re-enter the US market. And this is massive because now the whole market is reopening, the US market that is, to the largest prop firms, and it sets a precedent for everybody else. So pretty incredible. This video is sponsored by our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Take your trading to the next level through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout. Click the link in the description to download the EA completely for free. So you guys may have remembered that this past February, I believe, Oanda was purchased by FTMO. So Oanda is one of the oldest brokers in the world, actually founded by two guys out of Toronto, so represent. And effectively, they had survived several years and ups and downs and the Swiss franc cycle, but they had been sold to private equity. So CVC is one of the world's largest private equity funds, and they owned Oanda. And effectively, I imagine FTMO gave them a good price and they wanted to exit it. And in doing so, FTMO acquired a subsidiary which has licenses all over the world. So Oanda is one of the few brokers that has tier A licenses in pretty much every jurisdiction. So they even have one in Canada. I guess it was technically founded here, but they moved to the States pretty quickly. So they also have US-based licenses, and they're a fully licensed brokerage. And I believed in certain jurisdictions they are obviously licensed more as a CFD broker, whereas in the States they would be under the CFTC. I believe it's something futures tangential down there. I'm not 100% certain, but they were one of the best licensed jurisdictions to stop rambling. And through the acquisition of this, FTMO all of a sudden now has the ability to have licenses all over the world. And I think that was largely one of the reasons why they did this, because now they're able to re-enter a bunch of countries that perhaps had some more stringent regulatory requirements, and the largest of which being the US. So now you can go to ftmooanda.com and you actually are able to open accounts with FTMO using effectively exactly the same conditions as FTMO, but you're technically under an entity which is a JV of a licensed corporation, licensed by the CFTC Corporation in the US. And this means that they now have the regulatory cover to properly do business in the States without being worried about getting shut down by the CFTC, such as my Forex funds did. So if we check the actual conditions, they look exactly the same practically as normal FTMO. So this is normal FTMO, and this is American FTMO. We can see that the max daily loss, 5%, max loss, 10%, minimum trading days, 4, and it seems to be exactly the same. In terms of pricing, at least in the $100,000 account, it's effectively the same. Like 450 euros is going to be 631 US dollars, and here we're at 619. So if you factor into account slight FX fluctuations, it's pretty much exactly the same. And we can see as well is that really just a very impressive website, looks extremely similar. They also have they denote that they're giving away MT5 with every account, or it's included with every account, and you get essentially the exact same features as you would with normal FTMO. So overall, it looks just like FTMO standards, which we all know and love, but now being applied to US traders. So it's really quite an interesting opportunity, because now all of a sudden people can access really good prop firm conditions and really good prop firm payout reputation from the US, because it was getting to the point where many of the biggest firms in the industry, such as FTMO and Fivers, and even a few of the smaller ones, started to not service US customers. And this was in 2024. But as of late, as the industry seems to become more reputable, more well capitalized, and I think FTMO is one of the largest companies in the Czech Republic by now, they have the firepower and they have the cash to be able to comply with all these complex regulations in a way which lets them do business all over the world. So there's really not much to go into in terms of the actual product offering, because it looks literally just like normal FTMO. But I think the more interesting aspect, at least for me, is what does this mean for the industry? This means that a lot of the unstable or kind of unstable days are largely behind us in the prop firm space. Like in 2024, it seemed like everybody was going bankrupt every 2 weeks, and that there was no potential future. Like, are they actually going to pay out? What's happening here? But now the fact that FTMO is a $1 billion company, they're buying brokers from massive global private equity funds. They have JVs and they have the regulatory firepower to do business in the States. Like, that's a huge vote of confidence, because it almost seemed like people were running away from the regulators last year. Whereas this year, people are going and they're actually approaching them head on, saying like, how do we become compliant? How do we set up the structures in place to comply with whatever regulations you impose upon us? And the fact that they can now probably hire some very expensive lawyers based on their cash flows to make this happen is also a really good sign. So my biggest takeaway here was, yes, amazing, Americans can now use FTMO, but it also generally shows the maturation of the business and that there is a lot of future for the prop firm space, just because that if they're able to actually check the boxes, it probably means that the industry has matured in such a way where they're now big, proper companies that can deal with these complex issues. So really impressive to see. So guys, I think this shows at least me that prop firms are here to stay. I think they're going to be a hallmark of the brokerage industry going forward. And yeah, looking forward to seeing who else re-enters the US market after this. So take care, have a wonderful day, see you in the next video.